Well, it really depends on your take on industrial strategy, to be honest. And I think there was a very good report out from the Reform think tank by Joe Hill on everythingism. And it does seem to be the case that, putting defence at the heart of Britain's industrial strategy is just another, outlay of that, to be honest. I don't think it's going to solve many of the economic problems we're facing. I mean, just looking at the basis for this, why is the UK defence industry kind of stagnated over this time? It comes back to a lot of those basics about energy prices. For example, the UK has gone from the country which first smelted virgin steel to one which cannot do that any longer. And a lot of that is driven by policy from Whitehall and very high energy prices. There was a really good letter in the Times today about, the fact the government only has a few weeks left to save the North Sea and the energy output from there. And it all feeds back into the energy price situation. And I think more generally, when it comes to defence, really it's not much to do with money at all. That's in many ways just a red herring. A lot of it is down to how defence is procured in this country. The MOD is infamous for having terrible procurement procedures. I mean, let's think about the Ajax fighting vehicle programme. Multiple years late, multiple times over budget, still hasn't been properly delivered yet, all because of the way in which we do procurement. There's some new procurement updates as well. So the Crown Commercial Service is essentially mandating that the way it does procurement, which is a lot of it's top down based on relationships with big clients, essentially is going to be mandated across government, all the way from MOD down to locals, and that's going to have a really strong effect on how we look at defence procurement. And it's essentially raising the threshold for which new startups in the defence industry can enter and access the procurement from MOD. I mean, let's look at AI, right, which is really the cutting edge of a lot of the new defence equipment pipeline. We published a small paper last year in giving evidence to the Defence Select Committee about what we call the AI jaw problem, which is that politicians literally spent 99% of their time in talking about new defence procurement, talking about AI, but only 1% of the contracts issued out of the MOD were for AI and these kind of emergent projects. So that really needs to be overcome. Other areas of procurement, social value, another case of everythingism. Social value, of course, is this idea that if you're spending government money, it needs to promote social value. There's no way of quantifying it. It's very vague, and it tends to be another case of everythingism. That now applies to Trident submarines. So money going to Trident, our independent nuclear deterrent, has to promote social value in some way. And that just makes it a bit of a nightmare for the people procuring and operating these systems. So I think there needs to be a bottom-up review of how we do defence in this country, not just throwing more money at it.